Hey guys, welcome to Sopi Mix Studio Umbiamas, conectando Aruba com o mundo via vídeo podcasting. Conectar conosco, compartilhar ideias e histórias para nos inspirar e para nos abrir. Sopi Mix Studio é plataforma de podcast na Aruba. Follow-nos riba Facebook, subscribe riba YouTube ou riba plataforma de podcast preferido. Escute o podcast preferido que hora e onde cutar. Sopi Mix Studio, powered by Qredits, botiu ideia? Qredits educa e prepara abo para vir um empresário exitoso de business plan, guia personal e préstamo para negócio até com 100 mil florim. Vira para mês donho com Qredits. Sopway, passa na Sopway para o sop, salada, wrap ou flatbread e mais fresco. Com 7 localidades rond Aruba, nós está cerca de Ibo. Sopway. Swingmasterz, organizando events, conferences of weddings, mister de luz, sound, staging, DJ, trussing of LED screen, Swingmasterz está claro para ser boa fiesta êxito. Swingmasterz. E agora, Sopi Mix Studio é plataforma de podcast de Aruba, está apresentar.
Yo, you don't know, we going global with this thing. Boom, top class, university, what a global opportunity. Aruba University, take part, come join me. Together for the local experience, spread the culture over the nation. Let's build up the community, learning and teaching in diversity.
Hello, and good afternoon, and welcome to Straight Up Conversation about Education, a program sponsored by the University of Aruba. And today I have a special co-host with me. I'm going to introduce him in a few, but a shout out to my colleague and friend Deborah Alexander. I know you're tuned in. Speedy recovery. And she's home and she's getting better. We are more than happy to also welcome Mr. Diego as my co-host. Good afternoon.
Hi, Charisse. It's nice to be here and wearing a different hat. Last time I was here with you, I was a guest. Today I get to fill in for Deborah. So big shoes to fill.
Yeah, but you know, she's listening and she's being supportive. So for those of you who never joined us before, or you know, you can find all our movies on Spotify, on our social media platform at the university, but also thanks to Sopi Mix Studio. Great shout out to them as well for all the help they have been giving us. So for those of you who don't know Diego, just Diego do a quick introduction. So today's my co-host. He's my co-host, but we're going to be, you know, conversating about a very important topic, which is called synergy in STEM. So who are you, Diego?
And I think that helps that I'm the co-host today on that point, I guess. So I'm an engineer and also an entrepreneur. And now I'm working on getting my PhD research at the University of Aruba and the KU Leuven in the system program, Sustainable Island Solutions using science, technology, engineering, mathematics.
A mouthful. And so meaning he forgot, you know, he's a lecturer as well.
Correct.
You know.
So I'm a lecturer also at the University of Aruba at the moment. So hopefully we can have a lively conversation with some of my students. This is nice.
Yeah. Remember, they're not, you know, students, you can't, you know, he can't hold anything against you. This is an opportunity that we're creating here at, so yes, you know, so usually it's a custom for on a straight up conversation about education that we first get to know whoever is our guests, where, you know, the introduction, but also who you are as a person, because I think when we're connecting and we're building network, it's very important to know who they are. Do you agree with me, Diego?
I completely agree. It's a very important, building a relationship, building trust, building.
Yeah, that's it. So, with no further ado, who should we introduce first? Your choice.
I am going to say, let's do ladies first.
Okay. Alexandra, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome. Alexandra, before, you know, we know that you're a student, this is because, you know, Diego just told us of that, but let me ask you, what would your friends say about Alexandra? Who is Alexandra?
Hi, Charisse. First of all, thank you for having us. It's great being here. About myself, I believe that personally I have a lot of passions. I currently I dabble in system, and that's very much science and sustainability. But ever since I was very young, I also really dabbled in the creative arts type of thing. Before I've ever joined anything with science, I actually wanted to study film. However, something happened there that did not happen. But I really am passionate about film, and so that's something I also like to do. But I'm also very passionate about doing sustainability and environmental and working with the community.
Did she miss out anything?
No, this is nice. So, so you're a student at the University of Aruba?
I
right
am,
now?
yes.
And so you've been a student already for how long?
For 2 years.
2 years. So you started directly within the system program.
I did, yes.
That's what.
What you forgot to say is that she's ambitious.
Yeah.
She also worked at a lot of non-profit organization. She's the face of the university right now. Anybody who comes to the university will see a beautiful banner because we are proud of our students. And I got to know Alexandra in the last 2 years, and you're very passionate in anything that you do. You know, I really admire that from you. So is there anything, because you went straight into the system program, you're doing really good. Diego's going to talk a bit about a system program, but what led you to that? Did you because you said a few bumps along the road, you just blah, 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 really quickly. But as all students, you're young, you have to make a decision, and you hit it off right. What helped you? Who helped you? And how did you make the decision to stay in Aruba because you've gone abroad and that you're doing so well in the program?
Right. As I said, I actually, when I finished high school, I wanted to study film. So joining system was kind of an impulsive thing. However, it was kind of destiny because I am doing pretty well and I really like it as well. So I don't have that perfect, oh my God, I always loved science and sustainability and I wanted to join system. However, I think it worked out pretty well for me.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to go in that bumping room because filming, system, it's not like they're neighbors. Okay,
No, they're
you
not.
use videography to accentuate some stuff. So, I mean, what was going on? Why you were just like, okay, I need to decide now, boom, this looks more like me? Because there are many students out there, you know, exams are coming up. Those of you who are still studying success, and, you know, FYI, registration for the University of Aruba is opened online. So what would you say? Because it's a difficult period. You need to make a decision. You want to go abroad. You want to stay here. And then it wasn't really what you wanted. And I know, no magic wham kind of thing. But could you just elaborate a little? Because there are many students in the shoes right now where you were 2 years ago.
Right. Well, it wasn't... in high school, I had the science background. So that's what kind of led me also to system, as it was the only sort of science career on Aruba. Therefore... yeah, after finishing high school, it was kind of my only way to continue with the science, even though maybe that wasn't my first option. But however, yeah, that was the career path I had in high school, and it was the obvious sort of continuation after that.
You know, Diego, I like how she looks at the other student. I guess they're friends besides going to. So, you know, thank you. We still gotta come see, you know, what your magical touch is, what your, you know, what your hobbies are. But Diego, who's the other one she's looking to at every time?
Andrew, how are you?
Hi.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself a little bit.
Right.
Who are you?
Well, I am Andrew. I am a second-year student at System. I'm currently the president of Magic. I'm also in our new club, Synergy, part of the board. Yeah.
So
There's not much to it.
you've been at the university for 2 years also?
3 years,
right?
actually, including academic foundation year.
You started at the academic foundation year.
Yes.
And then from there, something led you to system.
Yes, well, it was actually before I entered. Before I entered the academic foundation year, a dear friend of mine, she showed me the pamphlet for system. It was before the first year even started, and she was like, "Yeah, it might be a better option to stay at Aruba. It's cheaper." And I was like, okay, sure, give it a try as well. So.
And what were your considerations? So you were in high school, let's say at that moment.
Yeah.
And then you were, I guess you also had a bit of a science background, or not so much, or.
Yeah, I was completely I had the what's it called?
NW packet.
NW packet, right. Um, Beforehand, I wanted to study psychology.
Okay.
But then I did some like research and I discovered that the market was pretty saturated with psychologists or like applied psychology. So I was like, yeah, it might not be the best option to go to a country so far away and not find a job afterwards.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I find that's like a very good balance in preparing your thoughts on not only looking at what you're very passionate about, but what your options are, because I guess you can always, when you look at the STEM and in system, there is some neuropsychology that is needed. So it's a different way of, interpreting it,
Right.
And again, I see he's also very reserved, and I'm going to spill everything. Because as student affairs, you get to know the students, and I see, we're going to talk about what he's doing at the university as well, because they're both, very active, not only being student, but I see you started out one of the student organization. And before we go into detail, have you always been a person to, if you see something that's up and should be dealt with, that you pick it up and you go like, let's go guys, we're missing this, we need to do this? Have you always been like that?
I kind of developed in a person like that, especially these last couple of years. I used to be very much like, oh no, that's somebody else's problem or something like that. So I really changed, I suppose.
What's changed?
Yeah.
Naturally, I'm a very caring person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that spilled over into the environment and saving the planet and stuff like that.
Okay. So
So-
your empathy grew a little bit
Right.
farther away than just the personal relationships. I guess the empathy was going also in your psychology, ambitions
Right,
at some
right.
point in time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, because sometimes, you can see that although you have a passion for something, or that you have that feeling that sometimes by changing environment, I guess changing environment, coming to the university, you felt the urge from, it's time for me to step up.
Right.
So now, before I ask Diego to explain a bit more on the AFI Academic Foundation program going to system, because not everybody has the NV track. For those who are college or API students listening in, I want them to know that possibility to follow the program system is possible. So before we do that, I'm going to do something different, because when you have students, it's always nice to try new things. Andrew, I'm going to ask you, could you tell me something about Andrea that she didn't mention, that, like that's her hobby, that's something that she does? And Andrea, could you tell me something about Andrew? Because they're friends. Hello, anybody listening in, they are friends. They have a really knit group of friends at UA. They always walk around like a pack. I was like, I just need to ask
I was going to
one.
mention that.
Yeah, I need
like
to
a
ask one. I said,
small
where's this one? Okay, he's there. At that time, he'll be back. I was like, okay. It's a lovely group of friends. I really admire that group of friends.
Right,
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, what could you tell me about? They're listening in. We all know that they're listening. So, hello to all the friends from Andrea, Alexandra, and Andrew. What would they say?
Well, one thing about Alexandra that I really, really admire is her, in Dutch you call it doorzettingsvermogen.
Her persistency.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Her tenacity,
right,
maybe. Yeah.
It's at a level that I haven't really seen in a person, or haven't seen as much. So I really admire
Wow.
that about her. Yeah.
Yeah. She's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm out of word. Andrea, what I was saying, Andrea, Alexandra, what would you tell me about Andrew, that you're like,
Well,
or
about
a
Andrew,
little
here-
hobby or something that you go like, didn't
Right.
mention that.
Well, he kind of already mentioned it, but I just want to emphasize on it that Andrew is a very caring person. If he sees someone in need or
Oh, yes.
anything, he will go ahead and help, and that is very admirable of Andrew. Definitely.
Yes. Yes, I see that. That's for sure. When he sends you WhatsApp and he goes like, thank you so much. Thank you for taking your time. And I'm just like, oh. But it's very nice, because I think that's a foundation, the students that we would like to have, because it's not only about academia, it's about academia and self-development. So I'm talking about self-development, Diego.
Yes.
System.
System.
If MBO API students, no matter what their backgrounds are, HAVO students are, should I elaborate a bit more on the AFI?
That one, I think
Okay.
I'm not as versed into it, so I lecture there. I'm not completely sure. I do know that there's a route,
Yes.
basically, to come in from different walks of life on the academic path. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Into this STEM, because it's really it's an engineering program that people are going in. So you need to have a foundation in physics, math. I see you nodding, Alexandra. So that foundation is very important.
Yeah.
Very much
Having,
so,
having
yes.
Very
strong
much.
math skills,
Yes.
strong
Yeah.
physics skills, strong chemistry skills.
Emphasis on the strong.
Yeah.
Those are necessary
Yes.
for the program. And depending on how you're coming into the program, so the academic foundation year actually does provide a lot of those bases.
Right.
So for people that are, that think they want to go that route, that somehow, in high school,
They didn't.
whichever path they took,
Yeah.
it didn't go that way. That's still a possibility as an initial year to start, and then
That's
getting
correct.
a taste, and then while those first students are coming in, they have that contact also. I think you have a very strong contact also. Even you're on your second year, some of the AFI first year students.
Yeah, you
I
guys
guess.
do a lot of
So
like
everybody's in
mingling
contact.
and mixing and
And
social
and then
activities. I see.
And then people
Yeah.
get to know our program at System and and the other programs as well, right? So then I think it's a nice way to find that new path. Like Alexandra, so you weren't really sure about System or about going into this engineering type of, especially because you're in the technology and engineering track. So we have 3 different tracks, right? So
Could you
technology-
explain that to our listeners? For those of you who just tuned in, this is straight up conversation about education, and we're talking to 2 students who have also are very active in student organization, but they are both as students attending the bachelor program of system. And Diego's going to explain a bit about the 3 tracks we have. So just let me summarize that really quick. Even if you have the API, there's the MBO opleiding, it doesn't matter if you're hospitality, economics, technique, you can go and apply straight to the academic foundation year and then take the STEM track. What I really love about the academic foundation is it prepares not only if you're going to study at the University of Aruba, but anywhere you get a really strong guidance on research, on language, and also on personal development in terms of knowing who you are and where you stand in life and what you need. So I wouldn't say really coaching, but more career options in terms of career guidance. And then once you have that, so no matter what happens before, you then come into the system program.
Yes.
Okay, Diego,
Which-
take it
so
over.
you guys are in the system program, and so since
Yeah.
you're our guest, I'm going to quiz you, and since you're
Okay, oh my goodness, you're
So,
going to have an
wait,
exam. Listen up,
So we have
students.
3 specializations, right, at system. So we mentioned the first one, technology and engineering. That's the one you both following? No,
No, I am following it, but Alexandra, you are.
I'm sort
You're
of
in between.
following 2
you're following.
Oh,
2
wow.
specializations.
Yeah.
And they are?
The technology and engineer one, and I believe it's called information and data sciences.
Information
Yeah.
and data
That
science,
one,
correct.
yeah.
Okay, so we're missing environmental.
So and the third one is
And
Bio,
I almost said it.
bioenvironmental sciences.
Bioenvironmental science, correct.
Oops, I spilled it. I'm so sorry.
And
So they
then you
passed the
have-
first
you have
test,
3
okay.
There's 3 different tracks, right? So
Okay.
whether in technology engineering, I think it's a little bit more self-explanatory. Bioenvironmental science is also having to deal with our ecosystem, and it's a little bit more biology based, if we put it that way. And then so information and data science, how to discern very complex and large amount of information and be able to analyze it and present it
Yes, yeah.
effectively. So I think that's the track that you're taking. You're
Yeah.
also looking into a little bit of artificial intelligence, if I'm not mistaken, or not yet.
Not yet. It's sort of the part before artificial intelligence, which is machine learning. So
Now,
we're looking into
lady,
that.
stop. I'm going to know if you are listening in and you're like, okay, they're going a bit for, I need you to break that back down. Let's go back first to the first track. You're doing 2 tracks as well, but explain what that means, what you have to do in terms of workload and homework. What are the subjects you get? How can you relate that to anything happening around you so that those listening in can understand? So, if I take that track, do you have to take the track right from the start? Do you have like some basic subjects first? Let's break it down a bit.
So yeah, definitely. The specializations start at the second year. So the first year is very much the fundamentals of science in general. So you start getting subjects from maths, chemistry, biology, physics. It's very much that the first year. You get a little bit data science as well. So you learn a bit coding, and then all of that you use to then in the second year choose your specialization, which is the 3 that we just mentioned.
And all of this tied together in a nice knot around sustainability and our the environment that we're
Okay,
on,
I'm going to ask you to explain that as well, because when we say sustainability, it's like more of that modern hang word, sustainability, and we need to be environmental friendly. And I want you to break it down why Aruba chose that type, because there are many staff, and and why SIDS, we didn't speak about that either. So why is our track, is our system in Aruba so different than those that we offer? Because I think Aruba can be really proud. Shout out to Eric Mates, because we're really focusing on the SIDS. Could you break that down for listeners? And Andrew, feel free to just come in there and, share your experience so students can understand that from a student perspective on what that entails.
Correct, and I think it's very important to focus, because that was the one thing that I was going to ask you right after. Actually, it is when you were choosing what to study and what to focus on. You guys mentioned what your passions were. You're very caring, and thinking about and your base in having had this science, let's say, background during high school, and being, I guess, proficient, being able to pull through math and chemistry and physics, right? Or biology, for that matter.
It's a struggle. It's okay to say that. Let students know that it's a struggle, but you're making it, and that's important.
Keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
So the perseverance is important.
They gave us this laugh like you don't want to know, but they want to know. Sorry,
but
Diego.
You guys didn't mention the sustainability aspect of it. So I did want to ask you if that was also already in you before coming in, or was it just a curiosity that you had and you wanted to learn more about what this was? If I may, before your answer, and to your point, this is a very unique program that they're in, right? So this is unique in the world. So
yes, I would really like you to accentuate that for students who
before
understand.
Talking about sustainability and everybody's definition of it and what our definition of it is here, it is a sustainability program for islands by islands.
Yeah.
And normally when we are looking at engineering programs and technology programs around the world, everybody's trying to solve a lot of the big issues, but without really looking into that very local, and hyper-local when you look at an island, right?
Yes.
Very small aspect of it. And how does that special characteristic that islands have, that we're isolated but we're small, our markets are so big,
less means, less staff, less money,
the resources that we have around, and in islands most people are doing a little bit of everything, which in system you also you're also seeing how everything is just connected. How that program came up is quite nice.
It's very unique,
and it's growing quite a lot. So I hopefully we see your future followers in the program. So the next year is coming up, having also a lot more students coming from abroad, from other islands,
joining
because that's the aim of this program, to make sure that
make it international. So let's go.
Going back to you guys. So
that's where he give you like a minute time to think. So get your answer ready. This is a real teacher perspective. He's a co-host. He forgot he's not a teacher. It's okay. It's okay.
How did that play a role for you before? So you were in high school. Was that something, or is it just natural? What is it? How do you feel?
I think for me personally, we didn't really get much of it in high school. I don't think it's a very common subject to get in high school or before university. However, I was interested in it because I think social media plays a very, very big role in our lives currently, and sustainability, as it's sort of like a trend nowadays, it's being shown a lot on social media, and I got a lot of I got really interested in it, but it was very the basics. So you need to recycle, you need to reuse. However, when we got into system, you really started to see the whole broad perspective of it and how complex it is. And it's very interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, for me, it wasn't really the fact. So, like, I wasn't as versed in the sustainability topic or practices. It was mostly the idea of working with renewable energy,
Okay.
right? That's what drew me to system. That's what convinced me to join. Just the thought of like having the opportunity to work with solar panels. What's in the other called the windmills?
Wind turbine.
Wind turbine.
Wind turbines. There we go. Technology like that. So
So
it's
it was
after
technology driven. So
Right.
for you, it was more like this is where the world is going,
Mhm.
in a sense.
Yeah, basically. And a lot of people who I talked to, they were like, "Oh yeah, this is the future, and it's a really good study, and there's a lot of money in it, or something."
Okay.
Well,
Interesting.
you
So
know, yeah,
that's I talked about that on a different show about the
Yeah, the
sustainability
money.
aspects and the money aspects of it. Well, yeah, but it is true.
Yeah.
Right now, this is the future. This is where we need to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, thank you for being so honest. You know, let us not pretend, you know, as soon as you have these conversations. So those of you listening in, you know, you can just post your questions and we will make sure and answer them, because this is straight up conversation about education. And today we're talking about synergy in STEM. You still didn't hear about the synergy, but we're coming to that part. And we're here with also my new co-host, Mr. Diego, and Andrew and Alexandra, both students in system and both actively involved in the community of the student community of the university. So, Diego, I want to actually know, you know, okay, like, who should we start with? Should we start a little bit about Magic, what that is, then synergy, what that is? What do you think?
I wanted to follow up first before Magic and
That's
Synergy.
really good. That's really good.
So you were mentioning your view of sustainability before, and then now you're 2 years into this
Yeah.
program.
That's a good one. Yeah.
What do you think about it now? What misconceptions did you have, for instance,
Yes.
into what sustainability was that is much more clear to you now? And I think that probably would be a door to what the work that you guys are doing at Magic and Synergy. So then you can start also telling us what those two words are, because we haven't really talked about that much.
Yeah. Let's go for the first questions. Both. I want to hear both of you.
So, yeah, my perspective on the definition of sustainability definitely has shifted throughout the years that I've been at the university. At first, I thought that you should try to revert back into like be a prehistoric human to be like, oh yeah, you're sustainable. But through experience, through lectures and examples, that it was shown that of course you can go live as a caveman, but you can also just
That's sustainable.
Yeah,
maybe.
that's sustainable, maybe, because, you
Right.
know, we do have problems with other things, you know.
Right. But you can also just change different aspects of your life to increase your sustainability, because becoming truly sustainable is very difficult, especially in our modern society. So yeah, I think it's just a changing baseline for me, because as I gain more experience, I understand the deeper importance of how to improve your sustainability, reach sustainable level, stuff like that.
Alexander, before you answer, what did you do that changed your everyday life? What do you do differently now? I know, it changed
have
some
you
things
changed?
I do, you know.
You've
So,
changed you guys have changed.
yeah, and
a lot of people at the
Diego, I'm
university.
going to ask you too. You know, we're all going to be asking each other here, because we have to be an example. We cannot be having a program, studying in a program, and just doing things like, okay, I'm just studying it. So what have you changed in your daily life when we look at sustainability?
What I have tried to adjust was my electricity consumption. So especially when it comes to using airco, using water, so like energy consumption in that case, I try to improve it. So I try not to use the airco for too long. I put it on an automatic timer that it turns off after so many hours. I try to shower quickly not spend 2 hours under the shower. So I try to improve a lot qua energy. So yeah,
More aware.
Okay.
more aware,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, thank you, thank you. Now we can go back to the question to you, and of course I'm going to ask you, so you had some thinking time from what are you doing in your personal life, and also what Diego posted on the sustainability.
How
Right.
has your perception shifted?
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna mention misconceptions. You
Yeah.
mentioned
Yeah.
something about misconceptions. I think
that's a good one.
two big misconceptions are, first of all, that one person cannot do anything. Through system, I think, and through the lectures, we've learned quite a lot that one person can have a big impact by just you being sustainable. You can influence the other person
Right.
to also be sustainable. So by you being the example, you help in sustainability. And also the other misconception is that sustainability or being more sustainable is expensive. However, Andrew was mentioning how it isn't, because just by changing small things, changing here from LED to incandescent lights and things like that, using less. So for example, using less water or things like that can already be a way of being more sustainable. And yeah. And then what was the question?
What do you do in your daily life to be
Right.
more sustainable?
I think personally, I speak more about it. Before I joined System, I was already vegan, so that is one way of being sustainable. But afterwards, I really could, because of System, I could elaborate a little bit more about what is sustainability properly. And I think by doing that, I'm helping, just educating people kind of in a way.
Had you changed your eating habits because of sustainability, or was it a different reason, or now it's just reinforced?
No, it's been reinforced. I initially changed my eating habits because of health. But yeah, through the lectures that we've gotten, we have gotten a few that said that really changing your diet to a more plant-based is a very good way of helping the environment. So yeah, hearing that was a plus for me in a way.
Yes. After you see Amber walking around and talking about your CO2 impact, it's like, okay, we're not going for the beef, we're not going for cheese, but we're going for chicken. So, she talked about the different, she was on the program as well. So, Diego.
The awareness.
Yeah.
Magic and synergy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but before we go
oh,
to
yeah.
magic and synergy, what difference did you make? It's difficult. I'm not going to say it's difficult. I have made some changes myself because of the program and the students. And, every time we have a conference, I was like, oh, yeah, vegan. I got to get it. Alexander's vegan. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try what she's eating. And it really tastes good. It's really good.
Yeah.
But back to you.
Many. So my let's say my road into this, started very young, right? So when, they tell you, okay, turn off the light, all this, and then you try to, I'm a curious person, so I keep asking why. Why do you want me to turn off the light?
I remember, yeah.
Right? So that used to be the thing. No, turn off the light before you leave the room. And I'm like, why? It didn't really cost that much more. Let's put it that way. But it ended up being into stop being wasteful. And to me, I get a little bit more of that engineering hat on into that quest for efficiency. And so it started with that, and that brought a lot of awareness into, okay, what happens when you do something? So what happens when you leave the light on? So then there's this engine somewhere out in a utility that keeps running just to keep my light on, and then it's just burning stuff unnecessarily. And that generates a lot of different chain effects. And that got me into that path. It's a little strange the way my mind goes to that point.
I guess it's with your character from since you were very young.
So
yeah.
it becomes that, and then just that, on the day to day, everything in my house I tend to measure. So I have a measuring device coming into the electrical box of my house, where I measure exactly every single kilowatt hour, and I've been looking into every single device, light. Thing that's connected to my house, I figure out how much is it using, when is it using it, and how can I make that better.
So is this something, before you continue explaining that, we can have Elmar, anybody working with the Elmar, please, contact Diego? No, because I think you don't really know
People don't
how much.
because you don't pay that much attention,
Correct,
right? Because
correct.
you get the bill at the end of the
Yeah.
month, and then you said, "Well, I did all I could."
Yeah.
But sometimes
Yeah.
what you mentioned,
Awareness.
when people change all the light bulbs from
Right.
incandescent to
To
LED, or
LED, yeah.
energy saving, and then to LED, you would be surprised how many people miss one light. So
Yeah, that's
and I had.
true.
So
Yeah.
and this type of very focused look into, okay, I want to really know what's going on in my house because it's my house. So then I found that light that I had forgotten to change, for instance, or I found this airco that I had that was old. I didn't think that I was using as much, and I had a couple of aircos.
Or
There was one that wasn't
refrigerator,
used that
yeah.
much. The other one was using a lot more. Said, this is if I actually put this on a spreadsheet, I can make a good decision of if I buy it and I switch it out, I know that this
Would
is
it
going to
really
be much
help?
more efficient and it's
Will
going
it
to
really
help.
be more
How fast can I
efficient?
pay it off?
Yeah.
That type of decisions I make on a day-to-day basis. I was
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Okay, that's very detailed.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest. What I got really provoked about is, okay, you have to be more sustainable. You change, you look at your energy consumption. And I remember, you go to your LED light bulb and it goes like, what lifetime warranty. And then after 3 months, you need to buy another one. I was like, okay, how sustainable was this?
If
And
it
then
is,
you
no,
see
correct.
sometime, and it's a fashion, how would you know
And-
that people are using it sustainable? They use a
And-
lot of, common
Fortunately,
words.
We
Yeah.
focus a lot on energy.
Yeah.
Because I think that's one of the biggest things that happen. But it is all around. So sustainability in my house, I also look at the trees that are planted around my house, because the trees that are planted around my house are helping keep my house cool. So I like to take care of them, and I direct the air conditioning condensate to those trees so that they can at least get a little bit of water that I can just recover from there. Plus I water them as well, because it's sometimes not enough.
You better.
But that also just beyond just keeping my house cool, it's
Yeah.
home for the
Recycling your water.
home for
your
different
air
birds
seeds.
and different insects,
Yeah.
a home for different butterflies and things like
Yeah,
this,
well.
and it makes me happy to be home. So
Makes me happy.
But it is also at the same time just much nicer for not me, but my neighbors and
Correct.
everyone around. So
Correct.
that type
That
of
is the impact,
decisions and
yeah.
once you start looking at the connection of everything that we're doing, and especially here in a small island, that's what
Very sustainable. I do agree with you. I still plant my greens. I hope everybody who started during the pandemic is still doing that. So I actually eat 5 days from my garden. So I'm proud of that. And unfortunately, attracting all the birds and all the other insects, I don't know how to get rid of them. But we're living harmony, some for them and some for me. So we're
some of the
okay.
insects are okay.
I know. Then I need other bugs to get rid of them. But we're trying to live in harmony at my house.
By the way, that's what one of the specializations in system really looks into, this bioenvironmental systems. A lot of that, connection between all the different species and all the different.
There you go, how they help each other and how they change is so important. So those of you who just tuned in, this is Straight Conversation About Education, a program powered by the University of Aruba. And the name of this
This is Straight Up Conversation About Education, a program sponsored by the University of Aruba.
So, the name of the program is, as you said,
Synergy in STEM.
Synergy in STEM. So now we're going to dive in a little deeper because the clock is ticking. It's going so fast.
And we haven't talked about synergy and magic.
No, so now we're going to talk about synergy, magic, and STEM. So let's start first with Alexander. Synergy, when you hear the word synergy, there's a few bulbs that, go off in my head. But how can you please explain to those listening? And then those of you, remember, registration is open up online, www.ua.aw. If you have any questions of anything about the system program, you can send an email to stem@ua.aw. Back to you, Alexandra. Give us a bit more information about Synergy.
Right, so synergy, the word itself means collaboration, and the reason we decided to call it that is because in a way, system and science is a collaboration between different subjects, different fields, and different people in general from different backgrounds and countries. So we thought it was an apt name for it. And what it is, it's
Yeah, I was
engineering.
like, okay, what is energy
Yes.
at the University of Aruba?
It's an engineering club we have started.
Yay.
Yes, it's basically to do engineering projects with a twist in sustainability as well, and focusing on that. I don't know. Would you like to mention something about it, Andrew?
Yeah, because like for the past like year or something like that, we when we're at the university, we see certain things that can be improved. But if you were to take it from Magic's point of view, it doesn't really fit our motto. So I think an engineering club was a perfect solution to this, so that we can bring new improvements at the university.
Correct. So now you've set up. So this is very entrepreneurial of you guys. I
Yeah.
have to say. So you've set
Yeah.
up 2 different clubs. So one was set. So Magic was set up
2
In
years.
2017.
Yeah.
2017. So it's
Yeah.
almost 5 years old. So it's getting quite a traction. I think everybody at the University of Aruba knows about Magic
Yeah.
and the work that you're doing on.
And if
on-
you don't, you can follow them on Instagram as well. They have their Instagram,
Right, we
post that up. Yeah.
we all see the trash bins. We also see
Right.
you guys sorting to the trash from time to
Like
time.
today.
Yeah, right.
He was looking so different when I saw him this morning.
Right. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah.
So
What is
about
Magic?
Magic,
About
itself,
Magic,
so
yeah.
and
Then
how-
we're gonna go.
how
We're
that
gonna
has
be
evolved.
switching between. Yeah.
We're talking
what-
about both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Magic originally started in AFI together with
The
Tobia.
academic foundation year.
Right, academic
Yeah.
foundation year together with Tobia de Shisholo. He was the head, our Patreon. He was
Yes.
Yeah, your mentor in this.
right,
Yeah.
right. And when I joined for the first time in 2019, it was, I believe, it was pretty early on, or it was 2020. In any case, we decided to open up Magic for the rest of the university, since it was an academic foundation year only club. And since then, we've done many projects. Currently, with the recycling program, we recycled together with Plastic Beach Party. We collaborated with Bula Surf Shop. We did the Blue Blocks projects, where we put the blocks on different beaches that says "Don't drive on the dunes."
Yeah, so those of you, when you see the blocks, please do not drive on the dunes, because
Yeah.
why is that so important that they don't do that?
Right. Well, it's mostly ATVs, UTVs who drive on sand dunes or beaches, and that really just it makes the sand dirty. It destroys
Mhm.
ecosystems. It's
Compresses
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So it's not a nice sight to see as well.
So anyone can join the Magic Club. What does Magic stand for? So everybody, and you have to be a university student.
Well, yeah. Our criteria is that you are a student.
Okay.
So
Student as any student.
Any student.
So API, listen up, API students, Colegio Arubano, Ibero International School, doesn't matter. If you're a student on Aruba, you can join the MAGEC. So MAGEC stands for, and how can they contact you?
Yeah. Well, Magic stands for Making Aruba a Greener Environment Club. And you can contact us through different social media, especially on Instagram. I think that's our most accessible platform. That's where you also find our link to sign up. And you can contact Alexandra, actually. She's-
Right. I'm
Yeah.
the PR.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's our PR, yeah.
So, before we go into Synergy, if it's okay with you, how did that collaboration start with Bula? What did you do with Bula and Plastic Beach Pirate? That's one. And two, what do you do with recycled material? Because people see what wrong schools. We had a whole issue school, people just throwing dump in there. So students of the University of Aruba, please, there is a, information on what you should throw and not throw in the bins. We had some films up on the Instagram. Could you explain that and what you do with it so they can understand the importance?
Right. So at the time, our president, previous president, Dana Wong, she was approached by one of the owners of Bula since she worked there.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes.
he asked if Magic wanted to collaborate so we can execute the project for them. That's how things started. It was a really nice project. We
Yeah.
got to meet the original founder, creator. It was a friend group. And yeah, it was also a nice bonding project for Magic itself.
Nice,
Fun.
nice,
You get to
nice.
visit
Thank
all
you.
the different corners of Aruba,
Right.
paint some blue blocks and put them out.
Yeah.
Some fun
Yeah.
in the process.
No, definitely, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And so now, so Magic, basically you were working on this environmentally inclined projects. And so with Synergy, why, so you decided, you know, there were some things that you couldn't do that didn't really belong at Magic. What's your goal? How did you come about actually deciding to
Synergy.
open up a club, for instance?
Right. I think 3 of us were at
Three.
together when we decided
Who's that?
to.
So we're talking about Andrew. Who's the other one? I know she's listening in.
No, actually, Andrew, myself, and Diego. So 3 of us here right now.
All right.
We were at
okay,
the same
okay.
place when we decided to start the club.
I was
we were
approached with a question. I remember that.
with a question.
Okay, no fighting here. You know, we're all here equals. But interesting, yeah. Oh, I thought it was the I can't remember her name because you guys walk with 5, so I don't know all the names. But they're a really happy, smart group. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, so Synergy really is more focusing on doing more practical skills. So we were talking about how in system we do a lot of theory, we do some practice, but when it comes to going into the industry, you really need to have those practical skills, and we wanted to do more of that. And then we talked to Diego about that, and he was talking about how when he was in studying at his universities, they had these clubs where they would do more of this practical, and then we were like, oh, let's start a club. And then that's sort of how it started. Right, yeah.
I didn't really, so to that effect, I didn't really tell you to start a club.
No,
Let's put it that way.
She posted a question and you
I
encouraged
posted a
her.
question. No, so the question, I remember that conversation. Your question was, okay, you know, we really want to have a little bit more hands-on type of experience. But you're, you know, getting all this theory, you know, you get me in front of a board, not writing, and then some PowerPoint presentations. No, just kidding. And then it came about into, how does an engineer actually build a car type of question, right? How do you actually make a machine if all you're learning are these formulas and these elements that are out there? And it ended up, as a suggestion, basically. Because this is how most engineering,
Right. And
programs work around the world. So the students themselves, because I saw it in them, that they had this drive, you know, they want to use their hands.
really
they want
use
to
your
put
hands,
stuff
really
together.
apply. Yeah.
So it is, okay, you get together, you come up with something that you want to do, because it's very important. Otherwise, you don't do it.
Yeah.
If it's an assignment, you're not going to do it. Or not as happily, perhaps.
Now that you mentioned that.
But it's something that you want to do, something that you feel is missing, and then try to figure out how to put it together and how to get all those different elements from all the courses, because it's you guys have an interesting course load sometimes, quite broad as well. How do you get all those elements together and build this solution that you're thinking is needed? So that I was very happy when I saw the emaemail saying we're making a club.
Yeah.
And
So
you know, the name, everything is coming
I
from
love
them.
it. I love their logo. So I'm going to inject a bit. So explain your logo, where people can find you, and what are your first projects? Because if it's a hands-on, and again, so that's, you know, your logo, where can people find you? And of course, who can join
Right.
Synergy? Okay.
So our logo, one day me and Dredeline, we went to school and we were like, let's make a logo to have a visual representation of the club. And it's very much mixing energy with renewable energy and science. It's very, it's a light bulb. And then within the light bulb, we have a few gears. And within the gears, we have renewable energy. We have solar panels, wind turbines. And it's very representative of just science and sustainability, which is the goal of the club, to do engineering with a twist in sustainability. Right now, our first project, we're doing an automated compost bin. Here is maybe where you could say that Synergy differentiates, but at the same time, complements Magic, because in Magic we talk a lot about composting, how it's important, it helps the environment.
Difficult. I do it at
Right.
home. Oh my God, it's difficult.
Right,
Yeah.
and it reduces waste and all of that. But we wanted to do it with a technology twist where it's automated, so that because composting, you have to keep turning it, and you have to do it manually, and then
Tell me.
yeah, right.
It's my Saturday morning routine. But anyhow, just skip that.
Right.
Yeah.
We wanted to change that and do it automated, so that no one has to go and keep turning it. It would be doing it by itself.
So just give it a peek view, because we don't have any such equipments, anything at the
No.
UA. So I'm looking at Diego and I'm looking at you and Andrew. So give us a heads up on how that's going to become a reality, and who can join and how they can help,
Right.
even if there are companies listening right now. By the way, we're also on Spotify. If they're listening, how they can contribute to Synergy to make sure you can, realize your projects.
Right. So for this project, for example, we will be needing a bin. We need wires, we need motors, all of that that we have to look for ourselves. Luckily, we wanted to add renewable energy to it, and Tony Savold, right? He offered to give us a wind turbine, which we are very grateful
Oh my
for.
goodness.
Right.
Okay.
We're very grateful for that. But yeah, we're doing that right now, and anyone can join. It's open to anyone in the university. We didn't want to limit it to just system people, because some people that are doing other programs might also have an engineering
Interest.
interest, and
or
they
even
would
make,
want to-
writing the policy about it.
right,
So
exactly.
those OGM
All of those
students,
things.
and, getting
Yes.
all the accounting about it. We have our FEF students, we can make it like a project overseeing all the faculties.
Definitely. So it's
Yeah.
open to anyone. We have not created social media as of right now, because we're quite new yet. So we're starting to do that. But we have an email. It's just synergy@ua.awa. You can always send us an email there if you're interested to join. And
And Synergy, how do you spell it?
it's the word. So SYNERGY. Yes.
Yeah.
Synergy.
So as in synergy, as you write it, as in collaboration.
Yes.
So those of you who are even thinking of joining the university, hopefully during our orientation days that we have, you will be introduced to Majek and also Synergy. So if you have any ideas, or you think you want to join us, or you have, any way that you can contribute in a sustainable way, please contact these students that you're hearing about this right now. So that is really great, Diego. First to be a sparked Majek, and then now you sparked Synergy, having a conversation. That's why I say having conversation with students is so important.
Yeah, exactly. So having those conversations, getting those ideas really formed, and making sure that the follow through is there. So I'm very happy that the club is established. What you're doing, I see you guys probably completing this project and then moving on to probably doing some international competition projects between other student clubs, where you can then come up with some cool
So just let me tap right in and say we do have a student development fund at the university, which is for students by students, and we encourage students, make sure if they know there are any upcoming seminars, they can apply, because we want our students able to apply all that knowledge that they're learning and actually get it so they can see it. Because I think when people actually see, feel, and do it, it kind of resonates to them, and it, get the brain cells going.
And I think I'm very happy because this part I didn't know, that you had opened it up to the whole UA community, and I think it's brilliant in the end. So like you were saying, there's somebody at the accounting or the management type of education program
Yeah.
that can give a lot of input that you may not have had with just your
Yeah.
system hat on.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And,
I'm
I
very
think-
big on having different perspectives coming together.
Correct.
Very
Yeah.
important.
And hopefully,
Yeah.
this automated little compost system, if at some point in time one of your, colleague students from a different faculty comes in and says, well, we did the calculations and the math, and this could be something that we could have in
Yeah.
different houses around Aruba.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And
then
it creates a fund for you.
and then it creates a fund that you can, you start making the systems, selling them around Aruba.
Yeah.
Then you self-fund synergy. For
Yeah,
different
that's
projects.
exactly where we're going to. Or maybe the hospitality students will come and say, let's package it differently.
We can
Let's
put
give it another color. Let's give
put
it
it
another
all the
swing.
restaurants outside.
For
some-
example, remember that's how the girls started with the cooking oil. That's how the whole project around the world started with, making sure all the cooking oil by the restaurants is not going to waste but use. So, like you said, it takes one person to make a difference, and I'm so happy you are embodying that within the Magic and the Synergy student organizations. So, shout out to you, guys. We're almost coming to the end. I know. I hope those of you listening
I
in or
did okay.
tuning in.
Will I come
Oh,
back?
you did awesome. Deborah, give us a thumbs up here because,
Deborah,
Diego really
difficult
want to
shoes.
know. Want to know if he's doing okay. Shout out to you at home. And, to all of you who listen, this is Straight Up Conversation about education, a platform created by the University of Aruba. Those of you who are still wondering, not sure what you want to do in life, that's okay. They've all been there. Both students have explained a bit, and I'm going to do a round way. They get to, share some words of wisdom and some last words before we bring this program to the close, because this is also
famous
the
last
last episode of for this semester, because we're going into registration and I hope that we will have some students who would want to take over the podcast and just go into student activities, because that's what we're here for. So Synergy Magic, just hint, just so you know. So those of you, go to our website, www.ua.aw. You can register. Remember, registration is open. It closes on July 15th. Even if you're doubting, send an email to OSA, which is Office Student Affairs, osa@ua.aw, osa@ua.aw, for any questions. We were going to have, if you need more information, just go right ahead and send our emails, send through any social media, and we will answer you. So having said that, I would like to invite our guests and then my co-host to share your last thoughts for today on the podcast.
Well, thank you for having us. It was really great. If I have any words of wisdom, I would say just to try everything. Never doubt yourself. Some might recognize the quote, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So as long as you're trying and doing your best, I think that's very important. So go ahead.
All right, take those challenges. Wise
Yes.
words spoken. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Yes, thank you for having me once again. Well, what this past year has shown me is that as a student, you are able to influence other people more so than what I would have imagined. So I think, of course, you don't have to be a student, but whoever you are, you can always influence the people around you to do better for whatever it is that you want the person to do. Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Thank you. Very inspiring as well. Diego, I hope to see you more often as a host as well, and especially on the SIDS, the Small Island Development States, and system engineering. The system program is growing, and, I think we need to emphasize a bit more what is happening so we can really break it down for people, because sometimes they're like, ooh, I don't think I can do that, or it's not for me. So I hope to see you more often, leading a few podcasts in this area as well.
It's a fun experience to be here. But for me, as a couple of famous last words, let's say, for today's podcast, I'm happy to hear from you guys how you've let's say evolved through this new system program, the type of influence that you're doing already and you have not graduated. So the work that you've continued the work of Magic, expanded on that. You're starting a new project, trying to involve other people around, and getting that awareness of what really sustainability means for our islands. What this small program that started only a couple of years ago is achieving and can achieve is very hopeful.
Yes.
For me, I find that very interesting. I hope that we can continue to see, a lot more of people like you and your classmates.
Shout out to them. Hey, I know you're listening in.
And this is just that's you guys are here the example, but it's I think across the board, from all the system students, you see this shift going through.
And even at the university, as a university at whole. More sustainable. There's
so
a shift.
I wasn't there before.
There is a shift.
Okay.
I can really see that. And just even looking at the water bottles, changing the water cooler system, how we are working, the ACs, everything on timers, that wasn't there before. Make sure the UA stay green. Those are like small type. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So thank you so much. And, for those of you who listen to our program, who've been with us for a couple of years, because I was like the WhatsApp that I receive afterwards from, hey, sa escuchabo. Thank you so much for your trust and, having us in your homes and your offices, students, or lecturers, everybody who's been on the show. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, your knowledge, because I think as a community, we can come together once we share our thoughts. And that's exactly what university is doing, creating a platform. We will not always agree, but we want to hear what you're thinking. And we don't only want to hear what you're thinking, but we also want to know what you're doing. So I am more than honored to be at a university and have such intellectual and students who are really not afraid to share their opinions and try new things. So I want to end today and thank you for this semester, where, as John F. Kennedy always said, one person can make a difference and everyone should just try. So have a super afternoon. Those of you who still have exams, I wish you well. Those of you who still have projects, and I'm looking out to see you at the University of Aruba the upcoming academic year. So, ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.
Yo, you don't know. We going global with this thing.